All right, let's jump right in. We're going to tackle a huge question today in the world of social change. You've got this brilliant idea, right? Something that actually works. But how do you make it grow? How do you make it last? That's what we're digging into.
You've seen this happen, right? A fantastic project gets started, it helps a community, everyone's talking about it. And then, a few years down the road, it's just gone. So, why does that happen? Well, believe it or not, it often has less to do with how good the idea is and way more to do with how it was designed for the future.
So it really boils down to two things. You need the ambition to grow. That's the rocket fuel to scale up and reach for the stars. But you also need the strength to endure. That's the solid foundation that keeps the whole thing from falling apart on the journey. Grow and endure. Let's break down what that really means.
Okay, so let's get into the first piece of this puzzle, that exhilarating and, yeah, often pretty tough push to go big. This is all about taking something that you know works and hitting the amplifier. So what does scaling even mean? Look, it's not just about getting bigger for the sake of getting bigger. The key part, the really crucial part, is that last bit, without reducing quality. It's about expanding your reach or making your effect more powerful, all while keeping the amazing quality that made you successful in the first place.
The first type of scaling is probably what you're already picturing. It's called scaling out. Just imagine you've got a killer school program in one town. Scaling out means you take that exact model and you launch it in 10 new towns, or hey, maybe even a whole new country. It's all about horizontal expansion.
Then you've got scaling up. And this is where things get really interesting. This is about changing the rules of the game. So instead of building more schools yourself, you work to change the national education policy so every school starts using your method. You see, it's about changing the whole system for a massive, widespread impact.
And finally, there's scaling deep. This one's a little different. It's maybe the trickiest of them all. It's not about geography or policy. It's about changing hearts and minds. Think about campaigns that shift how people think about gender equality or taking care of the environment. The goal here is to change the culture itself.
Okay, so how do you actually do any of this? Well, think of this slide as your playbook. You got 5 key strategies here. They range from simple replication, literally just copying what works, to much more complex stuff like advocacy, where you're trying to change actual laws. And in between, you've got these incredible options like forming partnerships or using technology to grow like crazy.
Let's just take one of those, technology. This quote says it all, right? A single online platform can teach thousands, maybe even millions of students at the same time. It just completely shatters geographical barriers in a way that would have been impossible just a little while ago.
But here's the thing, right? A rocket ship is totally useless if it doesn't have a solid launch pad and enough fuel to actually get somewhere. That's sustainability. That's the stuff that keeps your big idea from being just a flash in the pan.
So, sustainability is basically what keeps your rocket from just being a firework, a big flash and then it's gone. It means you're not totally dependent on one grant that might dry up next year or on one founder who might decide to move on. It's about building an engine that just keeps on running.
And when we say sustainability, a lot of people just think about money. And yeah, financial health is huge, of course, but it's only one piece of the pie. To be truly sustainable, you need smooth operations, you need the community to buy in, that's your social sustainability, and you need a model that doesn't hurt the planet.
All right, so we get what it is, but how do you actually build it? What are the moves you need to make to get that kind of staying power?
This is your game plan for going the distance. Let's just pull out 2 really big ones here. Diversified funding. That's just a fancy way of saying don't put all your eggs in one basket. It makes you resilient. But maybe even more important is community engagement. If the people you're serving feel like they own the project, they become its biggest champions. They'll make sure it survives long after you're gone.
Okay, so here's where it all comes together. You've got this powerful force of growth, the rocket ship wanting to go fast and far, and you've got this critical need to be grounded and stable. And sometimes those two things are in a serious tug of war. How do you manage that balancing act? And this right here, this lays out the real-world problems. You grow too fast, boom, your quality can tank. You expand to a new place, you might run headfirst into cultural differences you didn't expect. And maybe the scariest one of all, mission drift. That's when you get so focused on growing that you forget why you even started. So how do you solve this puzzle? Well, let's look at 2 totally different real-world examples. On one hand, you have a market-based company like Tom's Shoes. On the other, You have these massive, systems-based global health programs. Let's see what we can learn from them. So, what can we learn from Tom's? It's actually genius. Their whole buy one, give one thing wasn't just a marketing slogan. It was their business engine. The more shoes they sold, the more shoes they gave away. Their financial success and their social impact were tied together, growing hand in hand.
Now, the lesson from those health campaigns is completely different but just as powerful. Instead of trying to build a whole new system from scratch, they integrated their vaccination programs right into a country's existing healthcare system. That means the impact becomes a permanent part of the infrastructure. It's built to last.
So, as you're in the trenches, building and growing, you need to keep asking yourself these 3 questions. They're like your North Star, your constant gut check to make sure you're growing responsibly and staying true to your original mission.
And honestly, this quote just nails it. The goal isn't just a bigger number. It's about creating real positive change that actually sticks around. That right there is the definition of true impact.
And that's really the core idea we've been talking about. Growth for growth's sake isn't the goal. In fact, irresponsible growth can actually destroy your mission. Responsible growth means building the team, the funding, and the systems to support your ambition for the long, long run.
So I want to leave you with this one last thought. When you think about your big idea, your venture, what's its legacy going to be? Are you building a spectacular but super brief flash of light? Or are you building a flame that can endure, a lasting light that provides warmth and guidance for years to come? The choice is yours.